is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes, and as a certified holistic health coach and certified naturopathic practitioner, I am honored to have you on this journey as you're investing time into yourself and what you, as an empowered individual, can do to help yourself when it comes to health and wellness. So today is Pharmacist Fridays, and I love this day because we have an amazing pharmacist who just takes the scientific stuff, makes it easier to understand, and he's not just a pharmacist, he's also a nutritional pharmacist, a formulation expert, and a relentless educator who has dedicated his life to helping you and I and others around the world. So as a compounding pharmacist, a skin health and functional nutrition specialist, Pharmacist Ben is uniquely blessed with this ability to be able to take complicated things and make them more understandable. And today we're going to be talking about some of the things that affect our skin and hormones and GLP-1 and, hey, the heart. So let's go ahead and bring Pharmacist Ben on. And folks, if you
You're muted, love.
Thank you. So you want to make sure that if you were invited by somebody specific that you get back with them because they cared enough about you, care enough about them to say, hey, thank you. As this program is a resource for an amazing community, and we want to make sure that we keep the integrity of that community going strong. So if you were not referred by somebody and you want more information and want to get connected with a certified holistic health coach, I do have a team standing by at 855-949-3377. 855-949-3377, or you can send questions to questions@dailywithdoc.com, as this program is being sponsored by Daily. Am I unmuted now? Okay. So let's go ahead and get on with today's show. And Pharmacist Ben Fuchs, thank you so much for joining us again. You know, just before I forget, we're going to be in person next week in Orlando. And I'm super excited that you're going to be there with us.
I'm super excited as well. I got the agenda yesterday from AJ. We're going to get to meet the Orlando Chamber of Commerce. I'm so excited. And I'm going to be on a panel, I guess, with a couple of doctors who are going to be blown away by what I say. Are they just ordinary doctors? Do we discover, AJ? Are they MDs?
Well, we have a mental health specialist. We have some other folks who don't quite do what you do, but are almost aligned, and we're gonna bring them all the way
Will
over.
it be contentious? Will it be contentious?
You know what? I think Jerry Springer will be upset that he's
No,
not
I
there.
don't mind if it's contentious. I have no problem.
I don't think Dr. Gary Siplin, can you unmute and just fill us in a little bit?
I don't like preaching to the choir. That's not fun for me.
I don't think it'll quite be the choir, but I do think that
I want to have legitimate back and forth, not from ordinary folks, but from medical professionals.
Senator Siplin, are all these folks aligned with what we already think, or they have their own different varied views, you think?
And Senator Siplin, you can turn your camera on if you'd like and join us on screen.
Can at least speak.
Okay. Can you see me? Yeah, I guess
No.
you can.
Yes,
Hey there.
you
Well,
can.
that's a good. How you doing? That's a good question. I think some of them they're into holistic health, but Dr. Bain is kind of like dealing the mental health thing. So everybody's not like Dr. Ben, but of course they got their own specialty.
I like to
on the
have
panel.
people. I like to have people disagree, so I can teach them something. That's what I like. I don't like
Well,
preaching to the choir.
Well, you're gonna have some people disagree. That's fine. I think you'll be
That's what I
welcome.
want. That's what I
Yeah.
want. Thank you, Gary.
Yeah.
Senator Siplin. Thank you so much.
Let me ask you this question right here. The way it's gonna work next week, we're gonna bring Commissioner Scott on board. He's gonna say a few words briefly. My wife, who established a building where the 90 seniors meet. I mean, she established that building just for the seniors can meet every Thursday there. And one of the reasons why I wanted to have it on Thursday is because they're there every Thursday until about 1:30. In addition to the other people that we invite from the public. So you're gonna have a captive audience of seniors who meet there every day, and I'm quite sure they're on medication.
Okay, good.
So Commissioner Scott's gonna speak first, my wife's gonna speak second, and then of course we got Project Impact, which is also a co-sponsor. She deals with helping at-risk kids and homeless people get housing. And then of course we'll bring you on. So
Right.
I got you from 9:15 until about 11 o'clock. And I know from experience being with you every Friday, you always run out of time answering questions. But I do want you to explain to the audience why people get diseases. That's very important.
I'm
And
happy.
then you can answer questions. Okay.
I'm happy to do all that. Absolutely.
So some of my people are afraid that'll be too long for you. I don't know, but I gave you
no,
from
it's not gonna be
9:15 until 11 o'clock.
No. Don't worry about that. That's not gonna be a problem. I'm
Good.
like you.
That's
I'm
what I
like a
thought, but-
politician. I'm like a politician, Senator. I could filibuster all day long, man. All week long. You're not gonna be able
But
to stop
they
me.
don't understand. See, I watch you for years, so I understand
All right.
what people want to ask. And then we got the panel at 11 o'clock until 12. And then we have lunch at 12 o'clock until 1. And for some people, they think that some people don't want to ask you a question in public and they
All
want
right.
to meet you privately. So
We
we
can do
got
that.
an hour between 12 and 1 so they can meet you privately. Okay.
Absolutely. We're
And then
there
we
for
have
a whole
Dr.
day.
Bain come on at 1 o'clock and he'll do his mentality thing. If you want to participate in that, you can do that too. So that's the schedule. But it's all about being Fuchs, okay?
I appreciate
why
that,
we're doing
Senator
this.
Siplin. Thank you so much, Senator. Appreciate it. Hey, when did you go to the University of Pittsburgh? When did you graduate?
77
Oh my God.
to 81. And then I went to law school in Pittsburgh from
So
81.
you knew Dan
no, from
Marino.
79 to 81.
You knew Dan Marino.
Oh, yeah. And
That's
Tony
good.
Dorsett,
And Tony Dorsett. That's right. All right.
Mean
Good
Joe
deal.
Green.
You knew all those guys. All right. So thank you, Senator Siplin. Good to see you. We'll see you next week.
Same here.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye.
All right. And for those of you who do not know those names, Pittsburgh Steelers. Growing up, I was a fan.
You were.
Now
Steel
I'm
curtain.
just for whoever's playing. Let's just play a great game.
All right. Well, I was a Raiders fan, so we hated the Steelers. Just let's be clear about that. All right.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Senator Siplin. We are super excited to be joining you next week. It sounds like it's going to be just a day full of being able to be in the public, reaching, sharing, and empowering. So I love that, Ben. You know, all the time that
Super excited. Super excited. Yes, ma'am. All right.
Now, one of the questions, if I could say, you know, my brother had prostate cancer, and of course, I had him hook up with AJ, and AJ did recommend some stuff for him, and of course, he doesn't have prostate cancer again. So I did invite him there. So I don't know how you know, I brag about it, you know, but I don't know what's the protocol with you guys.
We'll
But
be
he's gonna
bragging
be
on it.
there, and some other folk that AJ's helped is gonna be there too.
That's all. We'll let we're going to brag on everybody, including you,
Well, praise
including you,
God.
Senator. All right. Praise God. That's exactly right.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right.
Fantastic. All right. Okay. So let's
Yes.
go ahead and
Let's get the
you
show
know,
on the road, as they
we've
say.
got this show. We got a lot of people that have skin issues, weight issues, heart issues. Is it related? Is it connected? Can it be?
What do we have? We have the triangle of disease, right? The root, not fruit.
We do.
Root, not fruit. Yeah, I would. So everybody's clear. I sent AJ an article. By the way, I just sent you another article, AJ, for our collection there. So I sent AJ an article on GLP-1 receptor agonists and dermatitis, eczema. Dermatitis and eczema are synonymous. And that's really important to understand because eczema is sort of a vague word, but dermatitis is a specific word. Derma, skin, titis, inflammation. So dermatitis, eczema, synonymous, is an inflammation of the skin. What is inflammation? It's a defensive response. What's a defensive response? It's a response to an offending agent. Whenever you have a dermatitis, you got an offending agent. That offending agent could be something like toxicity that comes in through foods and activates the immune system, or that toxicity can be secondary to destabilization of the immune system. In other words, you might just be eating something that wouldn't affect you, but if your immune system is destabilized, now it affects you. So what are the main ways? There's only two that the system becomes destabilized: foods and sugar. Bottom point of the triangle of disease. And this is why you're going to see, and you're starting to see now, and you're going to continue to see more and more studies that talk about how GLP-1s help various health challenges. A couple months ago, GLP-1s were associated with improvements in dementia. This one shows that GLP-1s are associated with improvements in dermatitis. Is this because GLP-1s are some miracle drug? No. It's because GLP-1 drugs improve the body's glycemic response. They're not some miracle. They want you to think it's a miracle. It's not a miracle. It's working at the second point of the triangle of disease with sugars. Now, it's a miracle if you don't want to lay off of sugar. I did a radio show a couple weeks ago on GLP-1s, and a guy called up and he said, I love my GLP-1s. I lost so much weight and my blood sugar is better, blah, blah, blah. And that's true because I happen to know this guy. He couldn't get his blood sugar under control. He couldn't get his weight under control. He couldn't get his cardiovascular health under control because he wouldn't stop eating. So if you don't want to stop eating, you don't want to stop eating the sugar, then the GLP-1s will help you. But the problem is they're a drug. And they only help you temporarily. When you get off the GLP-1 drugs, you're going to balloon back up again and your blood pressure is going to go up and you're still going to have the same negative cardiovascular markers that you had before. But even worse, you now have to deal with toxicity and you have to deal with side effects. So I wanted AJ to see this article because it reminded me how the drug companies mislead us into believing that their wares are miraculous, when in reality, what they are is Band-Aids that are pale imitations of lifestyle choices that we could be making that would have real long-term benefits, real non-toxic benefits, real longevity benefits. When you see a GLP-1 RA, GLP-1 agonist drug improves a marker, say in dermatitis, what you don't see is the side effects and toxicities and the short longevity and the nutritional deficiencies are going to be associated secondary to taking the GLP. But they don't tell you that. So I wanted AJ to see that simply to point out the fact that it's not the GLP-1 that's the miracle. It's the blood sugar stabilization that is the miracle, and you don't need a GLP-1 to do it. Now, if you really want to have an exogenous substance to stabilize your blood sugar, we got the GLP-1 support kit, and we could talk about that. Now, the GLP-1 support kit's not like a drug. It's a support kit. It supports your own GLP-1. Real quickly, GLP-1, so people know what GLP-1s do, they improve insulin sensitivity is how they work. When you improve insulin sensitivity, every single marker of disease improves. And on top of all that, you don't eat as much. You're satisfied quicker, so you lose weight. So the GLP-1s are not the miracle. It's the stabilization of blood sugar that's the miracle, and you don't need a GLP-1 drug to do it. Our GLP-1 system or GLP-1 kit, if you will, you want to talk about that real quick? That doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's not a GLP-1 drug. That's a support system. That's actually called support system, a GLP-1 support system. GLP-1, first of all, suppresses your appetite. It slows down the release of food from the stomach, so you're satisfied longer. It improves blood sugar control, and it has improves what they call satiety, satisfaction at the neurochemical level. The longevities activate, elevate, regulate 3 products. They don't work that way. They support your own GLP-1. So you got the fiber product. That's the first. I think they call that. Is that the regulate? I think they call that regulate. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's regulate.
Okay, that's the regulate, and that is a prebiotic fiber, prebiotic that helps feed good bacteria. And this should never be lost on anybody. Probably it's not on people on this call, but there's a very important relationship between the digestive system and the blood sugar system via the intestine and the liver. And that's why the first point leads to the second point on the triangle of disease. So the YGY regulate, the first of the GLP-1 products, it's prebiotic. Prebiotic means it feeds your gut bacteria. Your gut bacteria then in turn generate what's called short chain fatty acids, butyric acid or butyrate, which we talked about largely, stabilize blood sugar, and then it makes you more satisfied. It's the soil that allows the GLP-1 system to work. You got psyllium in there, inulin, acacia, and resistant starch. There's also FOS in there, fructooligosaccharides. You might want to consider using your ultimate enzymes with it, and also, of course, plant-derived minerals go with everything. Then the second product in the system is your Activate, and that's the booster. That's made with three supplements: arginine, resveratrol, and then tart cherry. Arginine is probably the most important amino acid, or at least one of, I would say it's the most, but at least one of the most important amino acids for helping with blood sugar. It supports nitric oxide, supports blood flow. It's got a lot of benefits. Resveratrol, these days, everybody knows about resveratrol, but resveratrol's claim to fame in terms of blood sugar controls. It improves your insulin sensitivity, and then you get the anti-inflammatory support of the tart cherry. So that's your GLP-1 booster that supports your own GLP-1. And then the last product is your support shot, your GLP-1, I'm sorry, your longevity, what's it called? Elevate, the GLP-1 support shot. And that will directly stimulate satiety hormones. So basically, all the three products taken together will help your own GLP-1. GLP-1, by the way, is mostly an intestinal hormone. And that's why there's all this microbiome support in the GLP-1 support system kit. The point being, you don't need a GLP-1 drug. You want to support your own GLP-1. The problem with the GLP-1 drugs is, like all drugs, they work quickly, but there's a price to be paid later. You don't want to if you don't want to work, if you don't want to have to pay the price later in terms of nutritional deficiency or a rebound, go with your GLP-1 support kit. Watch your your intake of refined carbohydrates and sugars, exercise, drink more water, rest, all the things that we have to do to not just stabilize your blood sugar, improve cardiovascular health, but for your longevity as well. But I want everybody to see that when you read these studies on how wonderful GLP-1 drugs are, don't think, oh, the GLP-1 drug is so wonderful. Think stabilizing my blood sugar, working on the second point of the triangle of disease. That's where all the wonderfulness comes from. And by the way, GLP-1 drugs sit in the body for days. Real GLP-1 in the body is cleared out in minutes. So when you take a GLP-1 drug, you're throwing off your body's biochemistry for days. And this is another problem with drugs, is the body has to clear these drugs out like poisons. Is that, I don't know how, that alone should freak everybody out. You got to clear these drugs out as if they're poisons. That's not true about the GLP-1 support system from longevity or your own natural glucagon-like peptide, GLP, that you make.
Well, and when you're supporting the body's natural functions, you're not going to have the negative side effects that are being reported.
You're going to have no side effects, including, intestinal side effects and bleeding, retinal bleeding, and I mean, just
muscle loss,
Ozempic face, as they say, or Ozempic butt, as they say. Because when you artificially manipulate your appetite, you're going to end up dealing with nutritional deficiencies. And by the way, if you are on a GLP-1, and anybody who's a distributor working with patients or clients on a GLP-1 receptor agonist, RA, it becomes extra important that you do your nutritional supplements, extra important that you do your healthy start pack, because number one, like you say, you're going to be depriving your body of nutrients because you're not eating, or you're eating less than you need to eat. And then secondly, you have to deal with the detoxification. So as I've always said, and we're going to talk about this in a minute with the gal who wrote the letter, nutrients help your drugs work better, with some exceptions where there's maybe some interactions, some interactions where one cancels the other out, but that's rare. For the most part, you don't have to worry about this. You don't have to worry about interactions because your nutrients will help your drugs work better. Now, you do have to tell your doctor, because if you're on a blood thinner, for example, your nutrients may make your blood thinner work better, and you can drop, you'll be able to reduce your dose in your blood thinner, which is a good thing. But for the most part, nutrients are going to improve your body's ability to handle prescription medication.
Where we can't tell somebody to stop taking something.
No, we should never
look at.
You never want to tell somebody that. That's not our.
No.
That's not. I would never tell him. But that's another point. The doctor, as misguided as we may think he is, or she is, they're trying to help you. They're doing their best. There's no doctor that's trying to hurt you. They're trying to help you. They may be doing it in a misguided way, and that's our opinion. But you don't want to regard your physician as an enemy. But that doesn't mean you have to listen to everything they say. The problem is we don't feel comfortable with our knowledge. So we feel like disempowered when we go into an interaction with a physician where we don't feel like we can make have the right to make an assessment or right to have an opinion. Well, not only do you have a right to make an opinion because it's your body, but we should be well versed in how our medication's working, or how our particular biochemical pathology is showing up. Because if you don't know how your medication's working, or you don't know how your pathology is working out, you're going to become a victim of whatever some authority figure tells you. And we know, and I get the letters from folks who've had their organs removed and they've got nothing left practically of their female reproductive system, or of their thyroid, or of their digestive tract, their intestine, their pancreas, their stomach even. It's just heartbreaking what happens because we don't understand our bodies and we trust other people to handle it. That's why I go to great pains and great lengths to explain everything, because I don't want anybody just trusting me either. I want you to understand it. I don't want to be telling anybody what to do. I want everybody to understand their own bodies and how the medications are working vis-a-vis their bodies themselves. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, and I appreciate the fact that is your approach to it, because that empowers us with more information to say,
yes,
okay, does this even make sense?
Yes.
Why did I poison my body when there's another option to explore or act on.
And also, what I talk about, and that's why I always say I want to talk to doctors. I love talking to physicians. What I talk about is unfalsifiable. It's not, there's no way you can disagree. These aren't assertions, and I didn't read it in a study somewhere. This is just how everything's put together. It's just plumbing. It's just how the system and the parts of the system interact with each other. I'm not making any assertions, and I didn't read anything in a study. It's just how everything works together. And that's why it's very important to me that I talk to medical professionals, and especially talk to medical professionals in front of people, so they can hear, and they can hear the medical professional saying, well, I can't argue with that, Ben, because they can't.
Right.
They can't. There's nothing here that's assertion, or there's nothing here that's not, that is falsifiable at all. This is all just logical, coherent engineering. And that's really what we're talking about here. It's not health, it's engineering, how everything is put together from an engineering standpoint. That being said, why don't we just, did that explain the GLP-1 article? Anything else you want to talk about here with the GLP-1s?
AJ? No, I think that's fantastic.
I just sent AJ, I'm not going to talk about this, but I just sent him an article that I just saw this morning or this afternoon on fecal transplants. I know it's a disgusting topic. Sorry to say it, and Parkinson's. How early Parkinson's symptoms are dramatically improved by fecal transplants. Well, what does that mean? The gut and Parkinson's disease are intimately connected. It's not, people want to think your doctors will tell you it's your brain. It's not your brain. It's your digestive system. It shows up in the brain, but that's not where you can work. And I've known this for decades, since pharmacy school, and you're going to see more and more about this. I'm telling you, that triangle disease, you guys, you're going to, in 20 years, you're going to see everybody talking about it, because those are the two fundamental points. And then if you want to throw in the third point, of course, the adrenal thyroid complex, but that bottom of the triangle is the key to everything. It simplifies everything. And take that to your doctor and see what he says. There's no way that they can deny that.
And you can learn more about the triangle of disease by going to the website, triangleofdisease, all one word.com.
Thank you, AJ.
AJ, I see your hand up. AJ did a great job putting that together.
Yes, AJ does. And AJ, why don't you give a plug for your talk tomorrow? No, he did. Oh. AJ does what did you call it? It had some funny name there, AJ. What did you call your event? Oh, it's private. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
That means I don't know about it. That's what he's trying to say.
You're usually there every Saturday.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, AJ. What's your question?
So, Pharmacist Ben, there's a couple of things. But you explained, everything masterfully as usual. I guess, what I took away from what you said, however, is that if you have no self-discipline, use the medical model. If you can,
I don't like discipline. Discipline sounds too scary, but it's choice. You could say discipline if you want, but it's choice. The medical model is there as a convenience for us in the sense that you can hack into your biochemistry with a beta blocker. Just to give you an example, but if you have high blood pressure, we talked about why you have high blood pressure. The blood becomes sticky and sludgy and organs don't get fed. So you can mechanically or biochemically hack into your blood pressure, your hypertension by forcing the vessels to open up and drop the pressure. But that defeats what the body's trying to do. What we call disease and pathology and biochemical breakdown is really the body adapting or trying to adapt to a bad situation. So if you want to hack into it, yeah, there's plenty of drugs that'll do that, but there's always going to be a cost. If you want to hack into it, yeah, there's plenty of drugs you could do that. You go to the doctor, your insurance company will pay for it. If you live in Europe or you live in Canada, it's probably going to be free, but there's going to be a price to be paid for it. I don't know if I like self-discipline so much, but you could say it that way. It's really a choice is what it is.
I mean,
because people don't know they have, let me just say this real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you. People don't know they have choice. You understand? They think, and present company excluded, everybody in this call knows they have a choice. But the vast majority of people don't know they have an option. We're providing options. Gentle, non-toxic, compatible options that don't require the body to have to work to clean itself out. That's what we're doing. These are choices and options for people that want them. Most people don't know they have choices and options. Do you get that? And
You know,
then, and when I talked in Florida to these older folks, I guarantee you they're all, Senator Siflin was saying they're on medication. They don't know there's options. And that's what we're doing. Just letting people know there are options is going to help a certain amount of people. Not everybody, but it will help a certain amount of people.
right, because there are going to be some people who will not fast for 24 hours to see how their symptoms improve. There will be a number of people who will not change their diet, will not keep a food diary. The simple things that they can do to empower themselves.
More power to them. Jesus loves everybody. They're fine. You know, if that's what they want to do. For people who don't want to do that, who smell a rat, who feel more comfortable not being on prescription drugs, who want to increase their longevity, because there's no drugs that are going to improve your longevity, this is an option for them. So I don't want to belabor this too much because we got questions and we're going to run out of time here. If we could just, unless you have some questions, AJ?
I have a caller question. Ernie is 93, 180 pounds.
Wow.
He was 5'6", now he's 5'2".
Okay.
His diagnosis was acute pancreatitis.
Okay.
In February 2024, AFib, and a stroke 4 years ago. What kind of advice would you give Ernie?
All right, hang on. AFib and a stroke 4 years ago?
That's what I was sent. Yes.
Okay, so he had AFib and a stroke. And what's
acute pancreatitis?
But how did the stroke? Like, what's he left with the stroke? What did it affect?
I don't have that information.
Okay. All right. So depending on what part of the body was affected, because he may have had his digestive system. It might be he might have had a digestive. There might have been digestive ramifications. I don't know. So it could be a little bit tricky. But the pancreas is your enzyme factory. I call the pancreas Mr. Cellophane. Did you ever see that movie Chicago, Mr. Cellophane? You remember Mr. Cellophane in Chicago?
I did not see Chicago.
Mr. Cellophane was transparent. Nobody could see him. He was like ignored. They called him Mr. There was a big song about it, etc. The idea being, we don't notice it. We didn't notice him. That's what I call the pancreas. We don't notice the pancreas. We don't think about the pancreas until something happens. Because when you have pancreatitis, you know you have something happen. Pancreas. There's a reason why pancreatic cancer has a reputation for being the most deadly of all cancers. The pancreas is an enzyme factory. It makes enzymes, and as far as its digestive function is, when you eat a food and it goes into your intestine from your stomach, the pancreas shoots a bunch of juices along with the gallbladder and bile. Pancreatic juices neutralize stomach acid, so it plays a major role in the digestive process. It also plays a major role in blood sugar. So you could see you've got the 2 points of the triangle disease right there in one gland, in the pancreas. So it's a food problem and it's a sugar problem. That's your pancreas, food and sugar. So what do? Well, you got to change the way you eat, first of all. There's certain nutrients that you can take that will help as well. So sodium bicarbonate, which is made in the pancreas, can also help. If you use baking soda, teaspoon of baking soda every day or with your meals, baking soda, not with your meals, after your meals, because it'll neutralize your stomach acid. Maybe 2 hours after your meals, do a little bit of baking soda, or you can do baking soda just on a daily basis to support the pancreas. Also, your ultimate enzymes will support the pancreas, and anything you can do for blood sugar will support the pancreas, such as the healthy blood sugar pack. So you want to treat acute pancreatitis as digestive issue and blood sugar issue. Now, if you're an alcoholic, that will also stress the pancreas. And if you have gallstones, that will also put a burden on the pancreas. So between foods, sugar, gallstones, or if you're an alcoholic, which I assume that if he's 93, he's not an alcoholic, those are the places where you want to work on the pancreas. The ultimate enzymes and the healthy blood sugar pack are the two main longevity protocols that I would use, but also I would be working on digestive health as well. First point of the triangle disease.
Sound like the first time I've ever heard in this community us talk about reducing the effects of stomach acid.
I didn't say reducing. Did I say reducing the stuff?
Well, you said the sodium bicarbonate.
No, I said if you use sodium bicarbonate with your meals, you'll neutralize stomach acid, and that's not a good thing, which is why you want to take sodium bicarbonate a couple hours after your meals.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, you don't want to decrease stomach acid. That's true.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. So Ernie, you're going strong. Let's keep you going.
Yeah,
Keep you
93
going.
is amazing. 93 is amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Pharmacist Ben, I sent you an email and we have Miriam on with us right now. Miriam, go ahead and unmute and please present your question. Let's help your mama, another one of those individuals who is living a long life, and let's keep her going.
Thank you, Becca. Yes, my mom is also 92 years old.
Nice.
She
My
had,
mom too.
oh, wonderful. I think your mom's probably healthier than mine. She had
I
a
don't know.
hemorrhagic stroke
Oh,
a few years
okay.
ago, so she
Okay.
can't take blood thinners, but
Okay.
she's on a very low dose of aspirin to prevent blood clots. Apparently, it did not work though, because she had a blood clot stroke anyway last month. So
Okay.
she is in my sister's care, so I recommended to my sister that she give my mom fucoidan because it's an anticoagulant. My sister Googled it and read that Google says do not give fucoidan to someone who is taking aspirin, which of course my mom is taking. So is Google just correctly assuming that you don't want to make the
No.
blood thinner if you are already
No,
on blood thinners?
fucoidan is not going to make the blood thinner. No nutritional supplements will make the blood thinner. They will adjust the blood if it's too thick, but they're not going to make the blood thinner. Drugs make the blood thinner. The medical model, Google, and unfortunately some people conflate nutritional supplementation with drugs. And we are partially responsible, I have to say, because we say things like fucoidan thins the blood, essential fatty acids thin the blood, vitamin E thins the blood. They don't thin the blood. They support fluidity of the blood. They're not going to thin it. A drug will thin the blood. A drug, I'm going to give my metaphor again, which, I like telling the story because it's really illustrative, but I don't want anybody to get sick of it, but it's really important. Drugs hit the rock. Nutrients ask the rock. You understand what I'm saying from the Bible?
Yes, I do.
Doctors don't make that distinction. The media doesn't make that distinction. Unfortunately, some people don't make that distinction. Nutrients do not hit the rock. They don't thin the blood. Google's confused because Google works for the medical model, and the medical model owns Google.
That's what I thought. Excellent.
Fucoidan does not thin the blood like a blood thinner. It supports blood fluidity. That's a different thing than thinning the blood.
Wonderful. Thank
Okay,
you.
good.
Thank
there
you.
you go. Now, there's also other nutrients. There's other ways that she should be thinning the blood. And I don't want to say thinning the blood, supporting blood fluidity. Oxygen, making sure she's breathing correctly. Chances are she's not. Oxygen has a fluidity supporting effect. I think that's the right way to say it. Water has a fluidity supporting effect. Essential fats have a fluidity supporting effect. Digestive enzymes have a fluidity supporting effect. That's taken on an empty stomach. Vitamin E has a fluidity supporting effect. Plant-derived minerals have a fluidity supporting effect. These are all going to support blood fluidity. They're not going to thin the blood, though. They're going to have a fluidity supporting effect. Real quickly, the blood clotting process is regulated by what's called a cascade. That means reaction 1 causes reaction 2, causes reaction 3, causes reaction 4, causes reaction 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just like that Rube Goldberg machine we talked about, or mousetrap. You know what I'm talking about, Miriam?
Yes, yes.
Okay, just like mousetrap, just like Rube Goldberg machine. And it's extremely, extremely regulated. Probably the most regulated process in all of biology is blood thinning and blood clotting. Why do you suppose that would be? Because it's so important. But what have we done over the last 150 years? We figured out a way to keep the blood clotting all the time, or at least sludgy and sticky through foods. So we're all dealing with this problem. All disease is cell disease, but all cell disease is preceded by dirty blood. The reason the digestive system and the blood sugar system are so important in the first 2 points in the triangle of disease is because that's how the blood becomes yucky, sticky, sludgy, viscous, clotted. So your mother would be way better off, in addition to the supplements we just talked about and the oxygen and the water, to control her blood sugar and work on her digestive system. But she's not going to get that information from her doctor. And at 92 years old, she may not want to do it. So I would be, and this is not just for your mom, but anybody who's listening, I'd be working on digestive health, blood sugar health, using all the things we just talked about to help naturally fluidize the blood if I was dealing with any kind of blood clotting or blood thinning situation.
Thank you so much, Ben. I do have a second question.
Does that all that make sense though?
Yes, it's
Okay, good.
perfect. A perfect
Good.
answer. I think it will reassure my sister
Plus-
very much.
Plus your mom's probably sedentary, I would imagine, no?
Yes, yes.
So that's going to have it. That's going to sludge, lead to more sludginess. Things aren't moving. They're not circulating appropriately. So even something like, you ever see those little things where they're not bicycles, but they look like a bicycle where you just pedal with your feet, kind of while you're sitting. Even something like that would make a huge difference for her.
Excellent. I will let her know.
Okay.
My second question is, you just said that some nutrients cancel out the effects of medication. So I wanted to know which drugs, if any, does fucoidin cancel out? Because
fucoidin is not going to cancel out any drugs.
Okay.
However, fucoidin, and keep in mind with the Fucoid Z, you're getting a very little you're not getting a lot of algae in there. Theoretically, though, fiber can lock up if you take a lot of fiber with your medication, like at the same time, the fiber can chelate or can attach to the drugs, and you may not get this, you may not get the same, the drugs may lose some potency, but that fucoidin, you're not going to have that problem.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
And by the way, fucoidin is great for everybody, not just for sick people, not just for people who need medication. Everybody benefits from fucoid. It's an incredibly non-toxic, pleiotropic, as we say, multifunctional nutritional supplement or dietary supplement.
Great. Well, actually, can I throw in another question? My dad has diabetes. So how would if he started fucoidin, would he just have to keep track with his doctor about when to decrease that?
No, fucoidin's like seaweed. Does he tell you every time your dad eats sushi, does he tell your doctor?
No.
I mean, it's just basically seaweed. And it's interesting because seaweed and grass are two of the most powerful medicinal substances on the planet. As it turns out, grass is harder for us to process because the nutrients are locked up in the grass, but seaweed is like seagrass, essentially, seaweed, and the nutrients have been released by the water. So seaweed is powerful, powerful, powerful nutrition with every single nutrient of the mighty 9 essential nutrients contained therein, plus some non-essential nutrients like the polysaccharides, like fucoidin. Do you guys get the fucoidin is algae, is brown algae? It's the one of the active ingredients in brown algae.
Yes. So how would you recommend somebody weaning off their medicine if they become more and more healthy?
You wean off your medicine. You take less every day. Take half a dose, the day 1, take half a dose, or day 2, take half a dose, and day 3, take a quarter dose. Day 4, take a quarter dose. Day 5, take a 1/16 of a dose. Just reduce the dose, but do it with your physician.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you, Miriam. And let's go right over to AJ. And then I have a question coming in from email.
Yes.
Hey, Pharmacist Ben.
Yes.
We should do Ben Bites during the day because you're on fire.
During the day?
Yeah.
What, more than at night?
Yeah, I catch you at night. You're like,
I'm a little down.
AJ,
I get up at 4 in the morning, man.
I'm just joking. And people loved your performance on Coast to Coast, by the way.
Did they?
Yes, they did.
All right,
absolutely.
Cool.
Okay, so
first performance. What performance? What
performance? Yeah, how you were acting.
Not performing.
how you were doctoring the show. Okay, so someone's got a question. Shay Brookside, can't get rid of my high cholesterol according to my doctor, but I won't let her put me on a statin. What is the product he is advertising in this promo? And I'm guessing
healthy blood sugar pack and the ultimate niacin.
And then Smart
Fucoid Z. Fucoid Z also has a anti-lipidemic or anti-blood fat, blood cholesterol effect.
And then asking if Smart FX will assist in the cholesterol issue.
Smart FX. I have to say I'm not familiar with that off the top of my head. Are you?
Smart FX or some EFAs?
EFAs are awesome for all blood issues. Absolutely. Smart FX is just essential fatty acids.
Becca, those are EPA and DHA, right?
Omega-3. What is it? What is? I don't remember. I don't think I ever heard.
I think they're EPA and DHA.
EPA and DHA are specific for the brain. They're not necessarily, not going to hurt the blood. And they probably have some benefits, but they're not specifically going to lower blood cholesterol. Essential fatty acids might, though. Your ultimate EFAs and ultimate EFA plus. Cholesterol, I know we say this all the time, but it's just worth repeating. Do we have new people on the call?
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Okay, good. So cholesterol is a building substance. It's not the enemy. It's a building substance. It's an anabolic substance. If you're coming from surgery, your cholesterol will go up. Young people have higher cholesterol, blood cholesterol. Athletes, people are lifting weights, et cetera, because it helps you build. You can't make cells without cholesterol. The muscles depend on cholesterol. Your steroid hormones depend on cholesterol. Your bile depends on cholesterol. Vitamin D depends on cholesterol. It's an absolute biochemical, it's the height of biochemical ignorance to shut down cholesterol production artificially. It's just epic. And in 100 years, they're going to look back at us and think we were the dumbest culture in the history of mankind, that we pharmacologically shut down the poison, really, literally poisoned the cells that make cholesterol, the cholesterol pathway, if you will. Why does cholesterol go up then? Well, first of all, before we say why it goes up, what are they thinking? What's the logic? Why would they want to lower cholesterol? What's the health logic to lowering cholesterol? Do you know? Well, what are they thinking? Not whether they're right or wrong.
Heart disease.
Why heart disease? Why heart disease?
Well,
That's
they're
right.
thinking that cholesterol is blocking a pathway.
Correct. No, not a pathway. Blocking the blood vessel, blocking the movement of blood.
Okay.
There's cholesterol plaques that deposit in the arteries. These cholesterol plaques cause blockages, right? And then the heart doesn't get oxygenated. Okay? So the thinking is, well, let's shut down cholesterol production so we stop the blockages. But then you have to say, why is the cholesterol causing the blockages? What's going on? Why are there cholesterol blockages? Not why is the cholesterol being made, but why are there cholesterol blockages? We'll talk about why the cholesterol is being made in a second, but why are there blockages? Well, let's examine this. And this is how you have to do it. Remember, medicine's not a science. Medicine's not a science. Medicine doesn't work like that. Medicine is simply shutting down symptoms. It doesn't work on the biochemical mechanisms that cause the symptoms. It just artificially shuts them down. So where are the cholesterol blockages? Are they in what part of the circulatory system? Are they in the veins?
Arteries.
No, they're in the arteries. That's a major clue right there. Are they in the capillaries? No, they're in the arteries. And especially in the big arteries close to the heart. That's where you have the main blockages. So there's a clue there. And this is why you have to understand biochemistry and biology and physiology to really figure this thing out. So you got blockages in the arteries, but not in the veins. So what does that mean? That means there's something different about the arteries than the veins that's causing the blockages. So what's the difference? Well, the arteries are more susceptible to pressure issues because they're closer to the heart, right? You have a circle, the heart's in the middle. This is very basic. The high pressure is in the front. There's not high pressure on the back end. The high pressure is in the front end. So why would there be cholesterol deposits where there's high pressure? Because where there's high pressure, you have more damage. If you have a weakened vascular system, you're going to have more damage in the front end than in the back end because the front end is subject to more forces. Are you with me?
Yes.
Making sense? So right away, we can see cholesterol deposits are related to pressure. They're related to weakness of the vasculature. So what you want to work on is the vasculature system, the blood system, not the cholesterol. You want to work on the arteries. How do you work on the arteries? Well, first of all, the arteries are made of connective tissue, so you work on your connective tissue, healthy bone and joint pack. Secondly, the arteries are very, very, very susceptible to glycation issues, sugaring, glycation of collagen, so you work on your blood sugar. And third of all, the arteries are going to be damaged by dirty blood. So you work on the digestive system. It all boils down to the triangle. And then the compound matters. Cholesterol levels are intimately connected to insulin. Elevated insulin, elevated cholesterol. Elevated blood sugar, elevated insulin, elevated cholesterol. So another reason to work on the second point of the triangle of disease. There's nowhere in health, in sickness, that you cannot improve by working on the triangle of disease. And even just the first 2 points, forget the triangle, the digestive system and the blood sugar system. That's it. Everything. So if you don't want to be on a statin drug, lower your blood sugar. Or get on the healthy blood sugar pack, and get on the healthy blood sugar pack and all the other strategies. Drinking more water alone will dilute your blood sugar. Exercise will dilute your blood sugar. And of course, eating less sugar will dilute your blood sugar, or will reduce your blood sugar.
And and you always say drink a tall glass of water when you first wake up in the morning.
First thing in the morning. If you're diabetic and you're testing your blood, test your blood every morning and drink a 32-ounce glass of good, clean water and watch your blood sugar concentration, because blood sugar means blood sugar concentration. That's in other words, the amount of sugar per unit of blood. That's what blood sugar concentration is. When you dilute the blood sugar just mathematically will drop. Blood sugar concentration will drop.
Someone emailed in, what's the relationship between kidneys and oxalates?
All right, so oxalates are a waste product. There are oxalates in food, and sometimes you'll hear people talking about avoiding high oxalate foods, and that's maybe not a bad thing, but it turns out that some of the foods that have oxalate, spinach, which is very high oxalate, are good foods for you. So probably if you have high oxalates, you've got some metabolic issues, some biochemical issues, because oxalates are a waste product. And it's no accident that people who are eating a lot of sugar, particularly fructose, have high oxalates. Oxalates are crystals, and they can saturate the blood. Like, remember we talked about how if you have a water and you put salt in the water, the salt goes in, another teaspoon of salt goes in, third teaspoon, fourth teaspoon, eventually it precipitates. It saturates, right. So oxalates will saturate the blood when it's, or will contribute to blood saturation when the blood is already sticky and sludgy and stuff is accumulating in the blood. Don't blame the oxalates. Blame the blood and blame the metabolism. But once you have oxalates going, if you have high oxalates, that can definitely cause kidney problems, oxalate stones and such. And that is a not pleasant experience. I would first of all, more water. That's one thing you can do to dilute the blood from the oxalates and improve kidney function. And then also consider a metabolic issue, i.e. first 2 points on the triangle of disease. There's no way to get around it, you guys. There's no way to get around the first 2 points on the triangle of disease. It ain't if you want to recover in a non-toxic way. Go ahead.
AJ?
Yeah. So would you think that the longevity GLP program
Wouldn't hurt.
Be helpful for someone who's
diabetic,
thinking about oxalates, wanting to clean the blood sugar?
It's not going to hurt, but nobody should think that the GLP-1 support system replaces the Healthy Start Pack.
Right. No.
The Healthy Start Pack is the basic. And if you don't want, by the way, if you don't want, if you're a distributor out there and somebody is balking at the Healthy Start Pack, they're not sure, and they don't want the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, just do the plant-derived minerals. That will make a difference. And I think that's like $39. How much is the mineral toddy?
Just plain
I think it's very inexpensive.
Plant-derived minerals or Ultimate Classic Liquid?
Plant-derived minerals. Just
$24.
And that will make a difference. The plant-derived minerals will clean the blood. So one of the hidden benefits of plant-derived minerals is they clean the blood. They improve blood fluidity on their own.
And but if you have more interest in knowing about this stuff, you can go to dailywithdocteam.com. You can go to triangleofdisease.com. You can go to rootnotfruit.com, and you can go to powerglp.com, or you can look at the description and you'll see all the other wonderful websites that Becca Dukes made sure we had.
Well, AJ, thank you so much, as you've been very instrumental in that as well. Pharmacist Ben, one more question and a couple comments. So Bruce out on Rumble says, we love Ben.
Oh, thank you.
Olga out on YouTube says butyrate fuels GLP-1 are gut's built-in weight management system.
Say that.
Correct?
I say it one more time. Butyrate.
Butyrate fuels.
Yeah, butyrate is unreal stuff. The third, the fiber product, is that the third one or that's the first one?
The first one,
The
Regulate.
first one, yeah, the Regulate, right. Regulate will support butyrate production. Exactly. I think that's what Bruce is talking about.
Wonderful. Or Olga. Yeah.
Olga.
Okay, last question, Pharmacist Ben. This one is coming in from Gary, one of our Critical Health News subscribers. He says, the people treating me want to give me chemotherapy for a sty on the inside of my lower right eyelid. I have suffered with
Wait. Chemotherapy, like what?
listen.
Like cancer?
Yeah, just
okay.
Just listen.
Okay.
I have suffered with this sty since last summer. It is large, red, swollen, and painful. Treatments have included warm compresses, antibiotic salves, 2 steroid injections directly into the eyelid. I've been treated by my general practice physician, an optometrist, and a PA specializing in styes. Nothing has worked. The sty is still there, and now I'm being told that experimental chemotherapy is the only treatment left. Treatment would involve eyelid injections of 5-FU, what is that?
5-fluorouracil.
The number of injections has not been determined. It's an experiment.
What else does this person, is this person on the call?
He is not on the call.
So the question to ask for if we're helping the person, and we can help with that additional call, what else do they have? A sty is I'm not convinced, if they're giving chemotherapy, it might not be a sty, because a sty is bacteria. So it might not be a sty. They may be calling it a sty, or he may be calling it a sty, but a sty is like a pimple. It's a pus-filled bump on your eyelid.
Right.
So if they're giving chemotherapy and if it's been there for a long time, it might not be a sty. It could be, if it's not bacteria, it could be a blocked gland, like an oil gland that's blocked. It could be, that's basically it. But it could be something like a cyst. It might not be bacteria. It might not be a pus. It could be just cells that are dividing very rapidly. You know, it's hard to imagine this, but you got to kind of force yourself to. If you take just your skin, and the eyelid is part of the skin system, obviously. But if you take your skin, you've got openings in the skin. What are those called? Pores, right?
Pores.
The pores are in the top, and then there's a rabbit hole on the bottom. The pores are the opening to the rabbit hole. The rabbit hole is called a follicle. This is in your eyelid too. It's hard to imagine this because it's so thin, but these follicles are microscopic. So they're in this, even though the eyelid is thin. And so what happens is, in this rabbit hole, the rabbit hole is lined with cells like every other part of the body. The rabbit hole is actually skin, but it's invaginated. It goes in. So it's part of your skin. And the cells, just like on the top of your skin, are dividing, right? Well, in the follicle, they're dividing. But if they divide out of control, that's where you start to get cysts, milia, sometimes people will call it. There's bacteria, they'll call it a zit or a pimple. But the initiating cause is cells dividing rapidly, out of control. How cells divide is tightly controlled. It's regulated. There's steps. Cells are born in the stem cell area in the bottom of the skin. It's like a nursery. Then they come out. They morph from stem cells. They're called skin cells at that point, or keratinocytes. That's a technical name because they make keratin, which is a protein. And then they rise to the top. This is why exfoliation is so important. Now, normally, if you're healthy, the cells will flop off. And if you're, for those of you guys sitting in a room, there's dead skin cells flying all over the room. 50% or 60% of the average dust bunny under your bed is skin cells that have been flopping off from people's face or bodies. As we age, that doesn't happen as rapidly. Nothing happens as rapidly as we age. And that's why exfoliation is so important. In any case, a sty or a boil, not a sty, but a boil, or not a cyst, is the end result of cells dividing too rapidly. A sty typically will have bacteria in it. But if they're giving chemotherapy for this person, it's probably not bacterial. It's probably more like a cyst. in which case it's a sign that cells are dividing too rapidly. Cells dividing too rapidly are caused by a few different things. Number one, nutritional deficiencies, particularly in vitamin A, vitamin D, and fats. Now, it could be that they're not absorbing. And that's why I want to ask this person about digestive health, if they have gallbladder, if they bloat or feel uncomfortable after certain foods. There's all kinds of questions I'd want to ask. Also, because insulin makes things divide really rapidly, there could be an insulin connection. Hello? First 2 points on the triangle of disease. And that's why I want to talk to the person. But chemotherapy just represents desperation. What chemotherapy is going to kill the cells, and then they won't divide rapidly. No problem. Of course, now you're dealing with chemotherapy. Now they are injecting it, which is a little bit better than taking it orally, but 5-FU is a really nasty substance. And you know, personally, I would be looking at what else is going on in this person's life, with this person's health. That would be the appropriate question. If they want to supplement, it would be fats, vitamin A, vitamin D, ultimate EFAs, healthy start pack, of course. See if there's anything else. That would be the most important thing that comes to mind. But I would want to ask this person because it doesn't sound like it's a bacterial infection, and that's what a STI typically is.
Okay, I'll be reaching out to Gary, getting more information, and yeah, that's what we do, folks, is we get down to the root cause. We're not looking at the fruit. We're looking at the root, just like the website, rootnotfruit.com. And the Pharmacist Ben, we're at the top of the hour. I know you've got to get out of here. I do have to go.
Thank you so much.
Get the co-hosts. That would greatly be appreciated. Have a happy Easter.
Happy Easter, and I'll see you on Wednesday.
I'll see you on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yes.
When do you get there? When do you get it into Florida?
We start driving Tuesday through the night. So thankful. There's more than one driver.
Okay.
And we'll be there Wednesday afternoon.
Okay. I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye for now.
See.
And thank you so much, everybody, for joining us here on Daily with Doc and Becca. And I am so thankful, full of gratitude for the people that are on the screen with me right now as they help make my job so much easier, even when they mute me. But that's okay. I've been there and done it myself. So thank you so much, Ruth Ellen, as my executive production manager, as she is helping to put everything together into the video with the graphics, pushing it out onto all the different platforms. Thank you. And Rod for being out on all the platforms, keeping an eye on things, bringing in questions. Thank you, and replying to them. And Albert for letting people in, as he is our gatekeeper way down south in South Africa. Thank you so much, Albert, for all that you do and being up when you should be sleeping. And Marilyn, thank you so much, Marilyn, as she is Ms. Speedy Fingers doing dictation into the chat, which is only available if you are here live with us by going to zoom.dailywithdoc.com. Now, this is a new link, folks, okay? It's going to ask you to sign in, have a code sent to your email, and then the next time you go to zoom.dailywithdoc, if you are approved to be into the room, you'll be able to be let in, but you do have to sign in with your Zoom account. We want to make sure that everybody who is here because they really want to be here to learn, not cause trouble. And last but certainly not least, we have AJ, who has been very instrumental in helping us with our marketing with these different websites, and also getting the word out through all the different platforms. And thank you. Thank you to you watching and listening, because as you are listening and absorbing information and sharing with others, you and I and everybody listening and doing the sharing are helping make this world a healthier place. These are actionable items, folks. So make sure that you get back with the person that shared this program with you. If there's no one to thank, you can go to dailywithdoc.com. You can look in, if you're here watching us later date or on a platform, look in the description, like AJ said. We've got lots of different websites there to give you more in-depth information about things that are most concerning to you. We want to make it easy. And on each of those websites, there is a store there so that you can get things in the mail coming to you much quicker. If you'd like to speak with somebody, again, get back with the person that shared this program with you. If there is no one to thank, we do have a call team at 855-949-3377. Again, 855-949-3377. That is our team of certified holistic health coaches. If you'd rather use email, you can email questions at dailywithdoc.com, or you can even text message the 855-949-3377. So again, thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching on one of the platforms, make sure you have subscribed. Show us some love and show somebody else some love by sharing this information with them. Don't forget, have a safe and fantastic weekend. And Monday, are we having bin bites? I think we got bin bites on Monday, but Daily with Doc, the live presentations, will be on vacation Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. But we may have a special little surprise, so you want to make sure that you are getting notifications of when we go live. Ruth Ellen, I saw your hand go up.
Yes. I just want to wish everyone a happy Easter. Enjoy your family.
Yes, happy Easter and Good Friday to each and every one of you. Bye for now. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to continue to share the teachings of a founding father of the science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach, Bachelor of Science in Plant and Soil Sciences, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, 4 postdoctorates in pathology, naturopathic doctor.